Welcome back to Forge Education. This is Ed. Today I'm going to be talking about CEI. The name of the company is Camber Energy. Now this one here has been voted one of the most requested on Twitter on my account. So for this one here, I'm going to give you a due diligence, basically going over the company itself, what they do, then institutional buyers, then technical analysis. If you'd like to skip towards the technical analysis, you can do so. There's a timestamp in the bottom in the comment section pinned if you want to move to that. So without further ado, let's jump right into this one. So Camber Energy. Now the first thing I do want to go for is their presentation because it really gives you everything you need to know. So Camber Energy, or CEI, has basically 62% ownership of Viking Energy Group Incorporations, which has 5 different companies underneath: LCM Energy Holdings, Icor Energy Holdings, Petrodome Energy, and Midcon Drilling and Midcon Petroleum. And some of these have different sub-companies as well underneath. So new management team will track record of closing transactions and driving growth, sophisticated technical team. They're also compelling growth strategies and have existing assets. So the current management team has more of 30 years experience for the CEO, and for the CFO more than 40 years experience. Bob Wanish has more than 40 years experience, and the senior vice president of geology has more than 40 years of experience. So their growth strategy drives into the following: increasing stakeholder value, diversification, leverage and expertise with relationships, and increase revenue streams. So they are leveraging their expertise and relationships to build a diversified organization with profitable business segments to increase stakeholder value. This balanced approach can expedite growth while reducing dependence on any particular division. Our aim is to acquire a majority interest in assets or entities with the current revenue streams and realistic upside potential. They also intend to pursue opportunities recognizing the immediate dependence on the current energy sources as well as the needed to explore sustainable and profitable alternatives. So assets held through the Chamber's majority-owned companies includes majority interest in multiple oil and gas fields, primarily across Texas and Louisiana, approximately 145 conventional producing oil and gas wells across 30 countries/parishes, over 30 proved drilling prospects, access to 900 square miles of 3D seismic data, and selling commodities to premium WTI and HH due to quality and proximity to the Gulf Coast. In 2020, revenue from existing assets was around $40.27 million. You get to see the map of their operations here in the darker green. Now, existing assets including as well this here in Victoria County in Texas. This one here as well goes on towards Napoleon Field in Louisiana on the left, and Victoria County in Texas on the right. And that basically sums up their 9 pages presentation. Now let's take a look into some of the news that have been there around for, I'd say, the last 6 months. So first off, coming in towards the Camber Energy majority-owned subsidiary announces Q1 results. And you get to see the Q1 results is on par from what you're seeing with the other year-over-year quarters ending March 31st. And so there's nothing really to write home about. But if you were to look into some of the other news that I wouldn't say the most bullish, including the one from New York Stock Exchange, an American, and you get to see that they are actually late on submitting one of the forms. So for instance here, they were notified by NYSE that the company was not in compliance with the exchange continued listing standards as set forth in section 1007 of the NYSE or New York Stock Exchange American Company Guide, given the company failed to timely file its Form 10-K for the 9 months period ending December 31st, 2021. And so that was a warning that they've been given. And another thing that was back all the way in January that is bullish is that they basically extinguished around $18.9 million of total debt. $39 million in transaction closed as well since December 23rd, 2020. So this really does free them from a lot of debt. So basically it says here that the Viking Energy Group, pursuant to which is Camber, to purchase $18.9 million worth of common stock of Viking in exchange for the shares of Viking. Camber agreed to issue 1,890 restricted shares of Camber Series C redeemable convertibles preferred stock to note holders of Viking, resulting in extinguishment of $18.9 million of debt. The acquisition and the debt cancellation transaction, dated on December 31st, 2020, are separate from the $20.1 million transaction completed to Camber and Viking on December 23rd, 2020. Now, some of the press releases as well goes on basically just general things, including board members changing their fiscal year, letter from CEO, etc. And you get to see that the market itself more often went from anywhere from around 40 cents all the way to an upwards of 310, and now down to 64 cents. So we're going to talk about this one a little bit further. But before doing so, let's take a look into institutional buyers. And from the institutional buyers perspective, you get to see that it's been a little bit quiet. I mean, Vanguard Index Fund added around, or declared around 360,000 shares on the 1st of June. The last massive addition was from BRSIX, Ultra Small Company Market Fund Class N, and they added around 165,000 shares. Now, in terms of insiders, I don't see any purchases or even exercising, etc. since 2018, which is a little bit weird because why wouldn't they want to buy from their own company? Now, the other thing as well you're looking at is that the short interest. So the daily short volume sits around almost 20 to 25%, although the reported short float is around only 7%. So there might actually be something to it there. Now, the price over book is 306, which is lower than the market average. The SP 500 average currently is closer to 5, but the price over sales is 121.82, and the current price over sales for the average of SP 500 is 4. So you get to see it's very much undervalued under the price over book, but overvalued for price over sales. Before moving on, if you would like to see more contents like this, make sure to hit that subscribe button on the bottom right. The bell notification buttons is literally right there. If you don't believe me, check it out, and click on both. Don't also forget to drop a like to this video to help this channel grow, and if you would like to join our Discord, it's in the description, totally free. Let's move on now towards technical analysis. Now, from a technical analysis perspective, what you're seeing here is that the MACD is actually dropping down and testing a negative reversal in the next coming days. So that's actually a very strong potential of it more of going on towards the negative side. And we don't want that. Momentum's actually gone already to the negative side at negative 0.03, although it's very easy for it to bounce at this level since it's almost touching the zero level. Only percent R is highly oversold, and the moving averages are all above the price point, which makes it a bit bearish, and all the moving averages, with the exception of the 200 SMA, are touching, which is almost like a fuse bomb. It can go either ways. Now, in terms of the stochastic fast and stochastic slow, both are dipping and telling you to be careful for the next strong support. The Bollinger Bands and the moving average bands are almost touching each other, and it's expected to trade for this one above from the top 73 cents and in the bottom 60 cents. And in terms of the Fibonacci retracements, I use this one just because algorithms use it and high frequency traders use it. The current resistance is at 108, 147, 178, 209, 253, 310, and the support is around 46 cents. And in terms of price line action, you're seeing a very strong support is at 64 cents. Below down, it's 57 cents. Below down there is around 51 cents. The current resistances, a very strong resistance, is at 67 cents. Above there, 73 cents. Above there, 79 cents. You're going upwards to 92 cents, 101, and then going up to 115, and then above there, 126, 137, and then going up to 152, 169, and then going up to 188, and going to 198, and then 211, and then up to 223, and then finally around that 258 $3 level. Comes to the question to Ed, what do you actually think about this one? Well, the chart really shows you a bit more of a history of around 2,875. This is pre all these splits all the way down to around 40 cents. So that is more of a worrying thing, specifically as well. That price point is actually since 2019. This is not even like, we're not talking back in 2000s. So there's actually been an interesting few things that happen as well. And if we were to look into the 2020 March kind of drop, and a lot of people are actually looking into this one around here. The March drop was somewhere, I think 2019 December, it was already dropped down to 65 cents. It jumped around January 2020 to 408 and then dropped down to 64 cents around March. So currently, yes, we are very close to that March bottom, but it did actually fall even further after March to around 45 cents in 18th of September. So it really is a very tricky position to be in. It's a very risky one in my opinion as well, and you need to be very careful into when to let go. But volatility on this one seems to be massive, and I wouldn't be surprised if this one just skyrockets for no reason because someone tweeted about it, etc. Be very careful, because for this one, it's either going to be perhaps almost worthless in the next 5 years, or really be able to pull everything around, and this chart kind of flips up and it kind of goes in parabolic. But for the current time being, history tells you a bit about what the future is going to be, so be very careful. And I'm very sorry to give you that kind of mixed opinion view, just because I'm trying to be as fair as I can to my viewers. Have a wonderful day. Now, if you made it this far into the video, I do recommend that you go ahead and join our Discord server. There's a lot of amazing folks in here. We do a lot of discussions here into the trading floor throughout the day. A lot of people are in there, and we do ask questions. You can ask me any question you would like on there. We do post research and DDs, and we hold weekly chat sessions. And we also do have a lounge in there. So make sure to actually join that and join the fun there. Have a wonderful day and a good one.